Hey, good evening, everyone. So, welcome to today's LinkedIn Live with Sunder Raman. And, I'm so excited today to have Sundar because, since I met him, I'm just amazed by his own corporate journey. He is into his third career, you can say. And the way he was telling me the other day how he built his career. And I just realized that, yes, I should invite him to LinkedIn Live because the way he has grown in corporate, he has climbed up the ladder. I really want to know and share with all of you. So that's why I have Sundar with me. So thank you, Sundar, for joining us today, LinkedIn Live.
Thank you, Arshad. Thank you, Arshad, for inviting me for this particular LinkedIn Live session.
Thank you. And those of you who are watching me live, just click that like button so that I'll know who is watching me. And there will be questions from you. So I have ample time towards the end for question answers. I have just few questions myself. And then, so keep those questions coming. And if you just want to say hi to Sundar, you can still put in the comments or along the way, if you have anything keep commenting on the same post. I will throw your comments on the screen like this. And I'm doing such LinkedIn lives every week because you might know I'm part of this LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program. Just got this t-shirt today from LinkedIn, so wearing this casual t-shirt first time probably on a public event, right? Really. So and so all these LinkedIn lives all on career and job search related journeys, right? So today's specific uh, topic is climbing the ladder, how to grow inside the organization fast. And I know every professional, when he or she starts the journey, they see themselves at the top, right? But I've been seeing again and again that very few really reach up there, right? So what's the secret, right? What does it take to go up? And that's what we want to decode from Sundar's own journey and what he has been doing with companies. So Sundar built his own career like this, like first 15 years worked in sales, then 15 years worked in HR, and now for last 1 year, he is now on his entrepreneurial journey. So worked with large companies like Nerolac, JSW, Tata Infotech, and now at besharp consulting, again large companies with their HR performance and analytics. So uh, he has tremendous experience himself, and now he is coaching and consulting many other professionals on the same topic, right? Like how to grow. So Sundar, I have the format here is I have few questions and I'll throw at them, throw at you, and
All right.
would love to understand this thing from your own personal experience,
Sure.
and since you have been working with many other professionals, so please bring out real experiences because we would like to know what happens with other people,
Right.
and there will be some questions from the audience. Yeah, so
Sure.
let's
Welcome.
start, Sundar. Um, yes, I mean, let's say I'll take the position of a typical corporate professional, okay, and you will be the on the other side, right? So yes,
Right.
I when I entered the corporate, yes, I had a dream of going up and up and up, and I got my first job maybe based on my technical skills or the graduation. What is the starting point now? When do I start? How do I start going up?
It's a very good question, Harshad. And before I get into the starting point to go up the ladder, let me set a context by mentioning about my own story. And I think little people should relate to this and how you really moved from sales to HR, and then to literally start something on my own. So in my, I did my graduation in BA in I think probably 1991,
Okay.
and then post that I kind of started my job. In those days, it was more computers. I did some computer programming languages and everything, and I was always interested to get into programming, becoming a software developer. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, I was not able to really go with that. And then I said, let me choose the line of sales and marketing and business development. So I started off with franchising, and then I moved up the ladder to sell hardware, software devices, networks, and technology solutions. And my first 15 years in my profession, I really worked towards, getting on to selling. And I used to be associated. I think after 10 years of my career, when I got into technology-based selling, where I was associated with a lot of MNC companies who are having various tools and technologies to address the needs of HR, that's when
Mm-hmm.
I set a vision that I need to really get into a HR head position,
Mm-hmm.
because like that particular role. So I kind of said, okay, fine, let me move to the HR role. But what I need to do. So while I was interacting with a whole lot of people in the as learning heads and probably CHROs while selling my solutions, I was
Mm-hmm.
able to really understand what is it required by them. So
Okay.
that was my learning curve, which has started long time back, and as to
Okay.
how to move to HR. And I
Mm-hmm.
picked up those skills, and then I said, okay, I think only BA wouldn't help me. So I
Yeah.
looked at getting into doing my executive MBA program.
Okay.
That time, since I was in sales and marketing, I still said, okay, fine, specialization should be marketing. And I took
Yeah.
marketing as my specialization. But then I kind of, though the vision was HR, then I said, let the marketing and HR domain skills I can learn on my own and then move up the ladder. Uh,
Yeah.
so be it. 15 years into various sales, business development domain, selling technology solutions. Then I said, transition to the training head position. So
Okay.
I think that was the entry point for me to get into, you know, uh, training.
Okay.
So while we look at it, the foundation, when you ask us the starting point to go up the ladder, the basically one thing is the future is in your imagination,
Okay.
I would say, and build a vision of what you want to be. This is the starting point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you have that vision, then you can go behind that vision. And that is what I would say is the most tipping point to really get into it. The next
Yeah.
is, wrap up your vision with a belief system, and
Okay. Mm-hmm.
believe that you can make a difference within the organization or for yourself. So it's all about winning. And I thought that, okay, while I am kind of working on aspects of my career movement from sales to HR, so I took up the route of training and development. And
Okay.
I said, let me wrap up my vision by getting into a winning position and a belief that I would be able to head the training department. And that's when I moved into training. And believe me, the journey was not that easy.
Mm-hmm.
My role of training and development first started off with a talent transformation. Since I was more into technology, I got the role of a talent transformation information technology
Yeah.
in Reliance Retail. And that's when Reliance Retail started off Reliance Fresh. And
Mm-hmm.
I joined, and within 7 days, the stores were up and running, and I had to literally go ahead and deliver the training. And
Wow.
what I thought the training is as simple as that, it was not that easy. I kind of had to really learn the skills of process optimizations, software applications, and then link both together to really teach. And when you are on the ground to go and teach, you always had that you were always at that level of, okay, training to the same set of people. But
Yeah.
believe me, it was different. And it was the training for the store people, and people in the stores who are sometimes who are 12th pass, non-graduates, who didn't know English. Communication was a problem. And
Mm-hmm.
believe me, it was really have to really drill down to understand their aspects of learning. And then you need to really develop those skills to really help them learn to really better in the process and systems. So I mean, it's
Yes.
a continuous learning curve, and that really helped
Okay.
me uh, to really get those skills. But most importantly,
Wow.
as I mentioned, that it's all about winning. And I
Wow.
would like to state few points over here.
Mm-hmm.
While you have the attitude, you have the future for your vision, you are wrapping up your vision with a belief system. The most important is scouting for opportunities
Okay.
within the organization and capturing opportunities that I mean, there are risks in any opportunity. So you have to capture those opportunities. And are you a risk taker? That is the question. So you need to be a risk taker to
Mm-hmm.
really work towards those skill sets, and that really helps you. The
Wow.
second,
Wow.
one more point I would like to really add here is like what you do or do something
Yeah.
else, you
Yeah.
know, look for ways to make your work interesting.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So when I started getting into this philosophy of making my work interesting, I used to really work on various tools and technologies to integrate in my training program. And I started because by the time you go and train for people, the process would have changed over here.
Yeah.
So how do you really adapt to those kind of situations? And then my experience, previous experience of sales and understanding technology really helped to use tools that would really cater to the audience.
Yeah.
And so
Mm-hmm.
that they could go and learn on their own. And I used to use learning capture tools to really capture all these particular processes and put it onto the portal to really for the people to learn. I think these are the challenges that sets your journey for an enjoyable experience. And
Yeah.
once you start relating to that, uh, it really helps. And the most important thing, your success depends on other people.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, to create personal success, one must interact with and receive the support of
Mm.
others. You need to be
Absolutely.
visible in the organization,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
You need
Yeah.
to build your strength from failures to success. And that's very important. And while you have all these ingredients, is the power of asking.
Okay.
If you spot
Finally,
if you sp-
yes.
if you spot an opportunity, one needs to ask that yes, I have the skill sets. Please give me this opportunity, and I would be able to deliver the goods. You need to have that kind of confidence. And I did that n number of times. I used to get into projects which I was not comfortable.
Okay.
Moving moving from a comfortable zone to an uncomfortable zone keeps you. I mentioned about an enjoyable experience and work. It helps you to really address those things. And believe me, everyone can succeed.
Mm-hmm.
We are all born with enough ability to experience success.
Mm-hmm.
Some have more ability and they succeed at a much higher level. But
Mm-hmm.
I would like to mention whatever the destination, your abilities can take you there.
Wow. Wow.
So I
Sundar, just
again
to,
repeat,
I mean, summarize, I think you really made very important points, I guess, actually. Uh, I mean, starting with belief system and a vision, actually, right? That to win, you rightly said belief to win, and with a vision where you want to go. And you
right,
gave example of how you transitioned because you understood that you wanted to go somewhere else and you have uh, to go along that path. Then you learned also along the way, making your own work interesting in the sense like innovating, right? Continuously making it
right,
better and better. How can you still make it better, and being visible in the organization, scouting, networking, and finally asking at the right opportunity, ability to take risk, like you moved from sales to training, and just 7 days before the launch you moved to that role. So ability to take risk as well. And amazing, amazing. So, like, just going a little specific here now. See, I generally professionals think that they are doing the hard work. They are the
right,
best people for that role. They are doing
right,
all the good work. Boss is happy.
right,
So every 2 3 years, I should get promoted. Automatically, right? So what specific skills and competencies are required? Why do I see others getting promoted and not me? What do they have which I don't have? And what do you look for as a corporate? And you have worked in assessments also, for leadership development or for next leaders, next managers. What do you really look for?
Arshad, this is a wonderful question. And as an HR head, a lot of employees used to come to me after a performance appraisal session. Why have I
Hmm.
not been promoted?
You must
Right?
be the villain, right, in those
Uh,
discussions.
yeah, because the villain is like uh, the immediate manager will say that, okay, the HR has downgraded you.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's not the case that way.
Okay.
Basically, when it comes to performance, it's a notion that I need to really wrong notion that I need to really get promoted every 2 years or 3 years, right? First of
Yeah.
all, there has to be position to get promoted
Yes. Hmm.
within the
Yes.
organization. If you look at your organization structure, so there has
Hmm.
to be a position for you to get promoted first. Second, even though you would have performed well during that year, that doesn't mean that you'll get promoted, right? Your performance is good. So you have done the job what it was required to be accomplished. This is based on your goal setting, right?
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then you need to have be a consistent performer for at least 2 to 3 years
Hmm.
to really go up the ladder,
Hmm.
right? Now, the question is, few people get promoted early, he got promoted even before me. That's because, as I mentioned to you, you scout for opportunities, you want to take up new positions, you want to learn new things. So, as an organization, the HR or the business head or the CEO would say, I would like to fast track as well few people in the organization,
Okay. Okay.
right? So, he looks at fast tracking a lot of people, and that is most important. And
Okay.
if you are visible in that position of fast tracking, or if you are a high potential, that's when I will now kind of touch base upon what are the specific skills and competencies required. And I do this day in and day out. In my journey, I would have assessed around 300, more than 500 managers, and
Wow.
uh, and I would have done formal assessment and development centers. But I just like for the knowledge of the audience, I would like to
Hmm.
say that you know most of us would know that is there is a performance appraisal, and most of us
Hmm.
few would also know that there is a program which is called a high potential program for identifying leaders in the organization.
Okay. Okay.
So there is a process for that. So if there are
Okay.
say around 3,000 people in the organization, so obviously I have to have certain aspects to really distinguish between a good performer and a
Hmm.
potential performer
Yes.
and a
Yes.
potential person. So I would rather relate to those again metrics. I'll go back to the performance table. I'll
Okay.
select the probably A's and B's out of there, which would be probably close to
Okay.
25% of the population.
Okay.
I'll select all those performers. As of now, I'm still in my radar, they are good performers. But I need to test their potential, assess their potential.
Okay. Hmm. So
Now, if
performance is just a starting step, and at
that's
least
right,
for 2 years, and having A, B grading in some performance metrics. Now
right.
the next step is potential, right? And
Next is
yes,
potential.
how do you grade or how do you assess that?
So how it happens is that there could be various methods within the organization. So it could be 2 years of performance assessment or 3 years of performance assessment with A and B grade. They are selected to go into the potential assessment cycle,
Okay.
right? And there comes the process of. So before that, the organization would have identified this. I need to have. There are certain critical positions in the organization. And
Yes.
for
Hmm.
these critical positions, I need to have manpower to really run those positions, right? Run those jobs
Yes.
and functions. Now comes the aspect of, uh, also succession planning.
Yes.
So what happens typically is while I have typically, critical positions in the organization, I also need to identify successors for critical roles. When I
Hmm.
say succession, for example, if there is a head of R&D, and he has left the organization or he's leaving the
Yes.
organization, who's there
Yes.
to fill his position
Yeah.
from within, right? So that needs to be identified. So every organization would have some metrics or the other. They would say, is there a potential candidate to fill the role immediately, or in the
Hmm.
next 1 year, or in the next 2 to 3 years? And that's where the development journey starts for the employee. And this development journey is through this identification of high potentials. And this high potential program goes through a journey of development assessment center, wherein they go through a psychometric assessment. They
Okay.
will go, yeah. So that is most important. Then there is a process. So we could have inbox exercises, we say. So there will be a defined 1 or 2 days of assessing the candidates.
Okay.
And those development journey or development assessment centers would mean that uh, there would be predefined case study, role plays, behavioral event interviews,
Wow.
everything as a process. And the selected candidate employees will go through this particular journey of assessment and development and assessment center. There would be assessors from outside assessing these employees,
Hmm.
and the case
Hmm.
studies or any other role plays. It could be a subordinate role play or a customer role play, would not be of the same industry, but it would be outside the industry
Okay.
to test your
Hmm.
skills. So basically, what we look at is the potential is mapped for the next level competencies.
Wow.
So I would like to mention here to most of the viewers who are here to understand what your organization has in terms of competencies for the next level.
Okay.
Go and check,
Okay.
go and check those competencies, what they mean to you. Understand those competencies. If you're not understood, go and speak to the HR.
Mm-hmm.
And that would mean a lot of work for you. You then need to really help yourself build those abilities, build those skills to address those competencies.
Wow. Wow. So, Sundar, thanks for this. So, and if I understand, like there is a proper process to it, right? It's not like just
That's right.
randomly chosen, and it is quite in
Right.
depth. And even
Very true.
external assessors are being called in and objectively as well as subjectively assessing through tests, psychometric tests, and case studies and a group discussion type test, right? So
Right.
it is quite objective, and but it can be organization dependent. That's why you said that your organization competencies framework you can
That's right.
go and understand, right?
Very true.
And amazing.
And Harshad, one more point I would like to hear is I would like to mention here is post those development assessment center, then the employees are ranked on a scale of 1 to 5 on
Okay.
those competencies where whether they have exhibited or not
Okay. Yes.
during the role play assessment interviews, whatever we do. And if they have exhibited those competencies and based on the ratings, then there might be 2 3 assessors,
Okay.
and each and every business, so if I give an example here, probably the competency is business acumen, customer focus,
Yes.
or communication to influence is being addressed through a role play.
Hmm.
A case study will address innovation, digitalization, and other things as the competencies. So we will check those competencies based on. So it's a matrix that has been designed. It's a proper matrix. And at the end of the session, the assessors get together
Hmm.
and then debate on how that entire employee performed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
Hmm.
it's rated, and then it's been given to the HR. And post that, the development journey starts in terms of individual development plans,
Yes.
uh,
Hmm.
and then they get into the aspect of the individual development plans could have projects. It could have learnings. It could have any other cross-functional aspects to be or projects to be really done. So based on what the learning curve is going to be for that particular individual.
Wow. Wow. Yes. Thanks for such an in-depth answer. It really helped us understand how corporates think about us, right? Like basically, right? And there is an objective process to it. And as you said, first is the identification, and then is the development plan. And then you are
Very
in
true.
that zone at least that, but you have to finally learn and continue to perform at that level.
Very true.
Uh, and the audience, please keep your, now it's time for your questions. So already people are loving us. So Shubham is saying, good to see you here, and
Thank you,
very
Shubham.
nice points discussed. So thanks for, thanks Shubham. And Gaurav saying very nice. So audience, please put your questions now, because I just have one more question and I'll take up your questions. Uh, I just want to take a minute here to tell you about our next event, which is happening just tomorrow. Okay. And if you are a senior professional looking for the next job, actually, where you can grow and perform even better, you are feeling that you are stuck in the current one, or it is not up to your expectation, or something is happening in your career, meet me live tomorrow 7 p.m. Okay. And this is not this will not be a LinkedIn live session. This will be in Zoom, and 1.5 hours power packed webinar for job search strategies. So there is a registration link you are seeing on the screen, harshadbhagwat.com/webinar, tomorrow 7 to 8:30 p.m. You just click on, I mean, you just have to type this link, and you need to register. You will get the meeting link, and see you tomorrow. And coming back, Sundar, so from your experience, you have already covered, but let's say, let me just give you one more quick sort of a rapid fire question. Three things helped you grow faster, right? How did you achieve that, or did you identify that, or looking back, do you think that these three things you did perfectly?
Uh, like I mentioned, that vision was most important. So
Okay.
my first thing was having a vision that I need to really get into the HR head position.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that was the first thing. So I worked towards that vision, and I learned a lot of things. Uh, so if I could state that after my learning and development journey in Reliance, I moved to Otis Elevator as again learning head, and that's when uh, you know I kind of for 2 years I worked as a head of learning over there,
Yes.
and then I went when I said that I need to really scout for opportunities, which I mentioned. I spoke to my boss and mentioned that uh, let me get into the HR generalist profile.
Okay.
And then I took the other HR generalist profile in terms of talent acquisition, in terms of employee engagement, uh, probably also looking at audits, HR audits. I learned various skills over there.
Mm-hmm.
And for 1 year, I worked over there. And again, I went back to him and said that let me take up talent management as my role.
Mm-hmm.
I learned the skills of talent management. I learned over for the next 3 years. Then I was more into corporate, and so while I'm working towards my vision, I was still not the head of HR. I was a generalist HR profile. And I said, now what is remaining? So for head of HR, I need to really work on two aspects. One is on understanding how the manufacturing unit functions, and
Okay.
also the industrial and the labor relations and the labor laws. So
Yes.
with these skills, I moved to JSW as a into the plant environment role. I again to move from an elevator company to steel to really understand about the steel industry to put those things in place and apply was a tough task. I learned, and then my journey was next as a head of HR. So I
Yes.
think that vision really helped me to scale
Yes.
up. I
Mm-hmm.
learned new skills as and when I got those opportunities, and most importantly, I took those risks.
Mm-hmm.
And even today, after my uh,
Yes.
working for almost 30 years, I took the risk of getting into an entrepreneurship journey.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And my current besharp consultancy is into HR. And I added
Hmm.
one more skill over there is cybersecurity. So I'm now learning
Hmm.
cybersecurity as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So having a vision is the like a north star, but going towards it is like helped you. You kept learning. That helped you actually along the way,
That's right.
and finally took risk. Like you might have taken bad turns as well, but you understood how to quickly turn around and
That's right.
uh, finally the thing. Thank you so much. Audience, please keep your questions coming so that if you have any questions about your particular case, you can be very specific question as well. Because Sundar is here, he has worked with very large corporates as HR heads, learning heads, and he practically knows even today how different large companies think in terms of their high performance managers. He has already given a lot of stuff to think about. So if you have any questions, do put in the comments below actually what you are seeing online. Sundar, one more question I have is, if I'm in those high performance managers already, or I'm on that path, what you are saying, but what happens is that there is a pyramid structure, right? So there will be fewer
Right.
and fewer opportunities up. So how do I beat the competition? What do I do differently? Or I, because you already said that you select four and fives, then there will be more than hundreds, then you'll assess. So what do I do to be different and maybe better?
So, Arshad, when you say it's more of internal competition, right?
Yes. Hmm.
Okay. So, how do I beat internal competition? I mean, rightly said by you, there is, while you go up the ladder, the pyramid is like, smaller. And you're high potential, you're a high performer, but there is no way that you can take up the next position or not getting promoted.
Hmm.
But usually there is, every employee who's a high performer at that particular level and how to beat the competition has been addressed by the HR or the CEO of the organization or the MD of the organization to provide probably horizontal opportunities. And those
Okay.
are the
Mhm.
horizontal opportunities like you would be added with an additional, probably if I'm HR head, then I might be provided with a role of IT as well, based on
All
skill
right.
sets if I would have. And I learn on the job. See, if you have to become a CEO, you need to really understand legal, IT, marketing, manufacturing, everything. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how you need to really scale up. So probably if you are very good in finance, so probably why can't you take a finance along with HR role,
Yes.
right? So I mean,
Yeah.
these are things that you need to spot for yourself. Go and speak. I said, go and ask. So please go and ask. Power of asking, and then get into the hot seat.
Yeah. Power of asking finally. And as you said, if it's happening that I'm not able to go up, but there will be some horizontal opportunities, and those actually can help me showcase myself even at a more responsibility level, so that in the next cycle I might be able to get. And as you said, there should be a position to fill, right? So maybe
Exactly.
later I will have the position to go up, and at that time I'll be visible because of additional responsibility, or there will be some responsibilities where I will be in direct spotlight, right? With the
Very
so
true.
sometimes having those responsibilities in my resume also
Right.
helps me, right?
In fact,
So
Arshad, I would like to add over here, most of the organizations, large organizations, they go in for, they probably go in for other, small organizations. There's a mergers and acquisitions which
yes.
happen. And these horizontal positions are, people are then placed as a particular level in those organizations as well to really run the operations. So,
Okay.
so there is ample of scope. So never look at that as that, okay, you're not being provided with those opportunities or anything. It's only thing that how you showcase, how you really perform, how your abilities are being highlighted, and most importantly, how positive you are in your approach and the attitude makes a lot of difference.
Wow. So, audience, I just have one more question. Let's see if you have any questions. Please put in the comments. I'll be seeing that here. Yes. So, I have a question from Dr. Jadhav, which I would take up soon. Dr. Jadhav, just wait. I will just I have one more question for Sundar. Better to switch or go up in the same company if I'm stuck, Sundar? Let's say I'm not able to figure out, or I'm not able to sort of structure or align myself in the current company. Do you think
Uh,
going somewhere else helps me or not?
exactly. So if my story has also been like that. And if
Okay.
sometimes you feel that you need to learn, you need to move from your comfortable zone, you need to really, uh, go up the ladder fast, better switch sometimes. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So you can identify, right? So
You can identify. Again, it's not easy. I mean, you
hmm,
need to have those kind of skills. Again, you're moving from one organization to the other organization, and then they need to identify your skills. Again, a
hmm.
whole lot of things come in over there. You need to be really bang on uh, in terms of addressing the roles and responsibilities over there. And sometimes people fail as well after the shift, and they feel that the culture is not good. They need to move.
Yes.
So, I mean, you need to really work towards it very nicely. And if you feel that yes, you can still have an opportunity to go up in the same organization, have an open dialogue with your higher
Okay.
ups,
Hmm.
with your HR, with your CEO, with your MD. You can knock at their doors. But if you feel that, in spite after that, being there, perform well, not able to go up the ladder, uh, probably it's a time then if you feel that you have to switch, then you need to perform well to switch as well. Not that easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Sundar, I have a question from the audience, Dr. Jadhav.
Mhm.
Dr. Jadhav is saying, I'm doing research in the domain of life skills. So my question is, what extent present education system is preparing student in terms of life skills corporate world is looking for? So, like we are talking about learning during the corporate journey, but how about the fundamentals which we learn during the college days itself? So what do you
Dr.
think
Jadhav,
about?
it's a very good question, and I would say that all those fundamentals really help. I would say it's an operating system for us. And
Hmm.
when I move from organization to organization, it's like, I need to have a Windows operating system to switch on my, computer. So my whatever the present education system has helped me is more as an operating system for me. From there, I would be able to connect the dots and scale up.
Wow.
Today,
Hmm.
learning, there's no limit to learning. You can keep on learning as much as you can. People move from career, they change their careers from probably manufacturing to something else as well. And I mean, it's all about their basic, I think, foundation has been good, the operating system has been good, and then they have applied those skills. They have been a fast learner, and then they moved up. I hope it answers Dr. Jadhav.
Yeah, I think Sundar, this is amazing because there is a limit to which college can teach us, right? Like, because as you
Yes,
said, like so much to learn, and we have to keep on learning. Everyone's path is different. So if college life can give us that basic operating system, right, as you said, and key skills which remain always with us,
right.
and then of course how you build up. Of course, we have to keep on learning. That's amazing. There is one more question from Shashi. There is a lot of personal perception matter. How to create that, because a lot of people have different ways of working. If I understand this question, Shashi, is like everyone is different, so there will be subjectivity. There will be different ways of working. So, but I think Sundar, you covered that, right? I think the way you assess is pretty exhaustive.
Right. So I
Does
could
it take
really
out
highlight,
the? Hmm.
yeah. So I think his perception could be with respect to how people as a boss perceive. I don't know what that's what he means, but it's like uh, how you also project yourself, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
That's most important.
Yeah.
If you
Mm,
are a
mm,
person who in a group meeting are always silent, then I think it's just an example. But
yeah.
you need to
Mm,
be really. uh, be upfront, understanding. So prepare before the meeting. What else could you talk about? Be very interactive, right? Put forth your points. Be innovative, and then the perception changes.
Yes, Sundar, a very apt point. Actually, the way I say is like if you don't communicate what others have to perceive you, the way others have to perceive you, they will make another choice. Anyway,
Right,
people have perceptions. As long as possible, at least communicate how you want to be perceived as.
right,
And finally,
right,
it's up to. And you also talked about your image in the organization, which is
right,
not just your education, neither just your designation, right? It is the way you behave as well. And you just gave a very
right,
simple example of meetings, like even everyday meetings, weekly meetings, can do something which makes you different or visible. And Sundar, there will be opportunities. For example, even like say volunteering for your let's say these leadership activities, or even for some seminars, you be a volunteer, and you know what happens, that you will be connected to the speakers, you will be connected to CEO of the organization. You might get their
right,
number as well, because you are the person who is looking after that, right? So maybe
right.
sometimes these extra opportunities also help you connect with the top. And
I would like to add, Harshad, I would like
hmm,
to add one more point here. As employees in the organization, if you're from an industry, say, for example, if it's a uh, construction industry, please go and have a look at what the other competition in the same industry are doing. Go and
wow,
read their annual
yes.
reports.
Hmm,
Go
hmm,
and read the annual reports. Do some research, right?
hmm,
What if you can probably throw up some points during the meeting with whatever
hmm.
you have studied
Wow,
as
yes.
an external environment? Immediately you are in the limelight. So then they said, why can't we? Hi, guy. So hi, Arshad. Why can't you work on this project?
Yes, exactly. So don't wait for Sundar to assess you, right? Basically, you are getting assessed almost every day. So how
Very
about
true.
show business acumen, communication, what the skills you mentioned? You got to show every day, right? It's not like some exam when there is an assessment, performance assessment, or not just quarterly and half yearly, where you have to put those performance management
Right,
metrics. It's not that, there's not the time. It's like
right.
almost every week you got to be slightly, maybe Sundar, we can say 1% better, right? We cannot
I would
like change
say,
completely.
I say that, 1 degree of change on a day-to-day basis is
Wow,
365 degrees of change in a year.
wow, wow.
Identify that 1 degree change
Hmm,
and
hmm,
you're there bang on. And
wow.
also one more thing, I'll tell you what,
Hmm,
the
hmm.
way you walk, the way you talk, the way you dress, the personality matters in the organization,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. People are watching
So
all the time, right? Indirectly, or
exactly,
making perception all the time. They might not be assessing, but your perception is together, right? Like how you
right,
even I've seen stories where the way you talk with with the security guard sometimes, right? Right? I mean, are you
right.
showing empathy there? Like empathy is not only in the boardroom, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In
Like
fact,
when you.
I had read an article,
Hmm,
and there was one gentleman at a higher level called for a meeting for an interview, and it was the last round with the CEO, and he was sent a car, the company car, and
okay.
the meeting was to suppose start at say 10 a.m. and he's probably at an hour's distance from his home. Uh, the driver reached late, and it was
Okay.
done purposely. So he blasted on the driver. So that's the value that the organization wants. So as soon as they got the feedback, they told him not to come for the interview.
Wow, wow, wow. So
And
character is when no one is looking at you, right? Basically, they say, right? So he was not even in the meeting room or boardroom to for an interview. He was in the car. So
correct,
still, great example, Sundar, to wrap this up. Yes, so Dr. Jadhav, I think liked your answer as which she as well. So great, great, Sundar. Thank you so much. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for all this and taking your time out. And like you really answered all the questions in depth with your personal examples, and that's exactly, it's like a practical, right? Like it's implementable.
Right.
And the last point you made about character and 1 degree change every day
Change.
learning is just very good to, I will also thinking for about it tonight. So thank you so much for that food for thought, Sundar. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you, Varshad. And to all my viewers, keep the learning curve on, build those skills. And post COVID, it's already changed. I mean, today we are in a hybrid model of working. And what happens is that you're not visible sometimes. You're only
Mm-hmm.
visible, not personally visible to your
Yeah,
supervisor. So you're on a conference call or anything. So even that matters a lot. So how you kind of go back to your office. I mean, if you're safe enough to really go to office, please go interact. Don't leave that
yeah,
office environment
yeah, makes sense.
because
Yeah.
it's you're not in the limelight then.
And we talked about just performance, which you can deliver online or through email and your work. It's just small percentage, right? Like
That's right.
so you got to be visible. You got to know things what are happening in the
Right.
organization. And we talked about water cooler meetings, right? Like actually, you get to know about other departments over lunch or in canteen or when you are, filling up your bottle. That's where you get to know other people, right? And it rarely
Very true.
happens over Zoom and Microsoft Teams. So I think that's another great
Can
point,
I
Sundar. That
can I take one more minute to
yeah,
really help
sure.
your audience? So there's one more concept of ability, aspiration, and engagement.
Okay.
Okay. So I mean, you can Google it. And ability is, does one's performance consistently showcase, are you able to deliver that? Your aspiration is, have you taken additional task? And your engagement is, how have you connected to that
Wow.
aspiration itself? So
Wow. Wow.
I think I would leave it over here,
Yeah.
wrap it up in a way that, as I rightly said, your vision is there. I wrap up the vision with a winning attitude.
Perfect. Let's leave with that, Sundar. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sundar. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you, audience. Bye.